right, hello everyone, and happy Friday. Hope we're all enjoying the nice weather if you're in Melbourne, and if you're not, sucked in. That's all I can say. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I hope someone's here or some people are here to watch this. Otherwise, it's going to be a very lonely live stream. It's going to be a solo. It's going to be a solo event in the real sense of the word. So. But I am quite proud of this layout that I've got here. This is a bit of a DIY promo for the new album that I've created. So I suppose I should mention that first before even playing a single note. I should also say I'll be putting up links to the album tracks, the various album tracks, during the course of the live stream. And if you want to say hello, feel free to jump on the chat and say hi. Don't be shy. It's very hard to bite virtually. So the album is out today. It's a bit frustrating that it's in reverse, but anyway, that's not actually how it looks. This is just the camera. But anyway, this is the vinyl version, the limited edition vinyl version of Timebombs in the Sea. And it's our fourth album. There are 10 tracks in total. We're very, very proud of this release. It's been a bit of a labor of love for all parties. And obviously it hasn't been the easiest of times for the band or humanity in general, but nevertheless, we're just glad that it's finally out. And you can see that lovely artwork there. Yeah, that's designed by Naomi Rahim Photography, and it's just a stunning photo of actually Lake Tyrrell, which is a pretty amazing regional part of Victoria if you ever get a chance to go there. So this is really just the opportunity for me to talk about the album and say hello to a few people, particularly those who may not be able to attend the launch if you're outside Melbourne. So you may have seen us posting about the launch in the last few weeks. Most bands tend to do an album launch and then officially release the album. Well, we've done it in reverse because we're such rebels, of course. But anyway, yeah, we are releasing the album today and then doing the launch on the 9th of December, Friday night at Kindred Bandroom, which is a fantastic space. Technically it's in Yarraville, but it's sometimes just easier to say Footscray because you do get the old Melbourneite, believe it or not, who doesn't know where Yarraville is. So it's only a short walk from Seddon railway station. If you are thinking of coming down, it's only a short walk from the station. So public transport, it's a 5-minute walk or something, or a 15-minute Uber ride or drive from the city of Melbourne, from the CBD. And yeah, there'll be 4 bands playing with us that evening, or 4 artists. So we've actually got a solo act opening up, the Pretty Cosmic Basement Spaceman. So that's something that we're looking forward to, seeing him play again. Good mate of ours. We're also having the likes of Merlin's Girl play second, and they're a fairly new band, but they're fronted by a very talented Kiwi singer-songwriter, Maisie. Then after that, we have Oceans, who are a shoegazer kind of band. They have an amazing sort of sonic, I guess, power to them. So they'll be playing last before we take the stage around 10 p.m. if all goes to plan. Yeah, so tickets, you can get them via the Eventbrite website. And what I'm going to do is put the link up in just a moment. You can also um, obviously pay on the door, but we just say it's a bit more secure and safer to get tickets in advance, because you just never know. We may sell out, and we don't want to disappoint people. So I'm not actually sure who's out there, but I'll just put the ticket out now, the ticket link, I should say, and you'll be able to grab yourself a ticket if you're in Melbourne on the 9th of December and you'd like to come along to the album launch. Now, I should also mention that Eventbrite is a very secure site. If you haven't used it before, there's no issues with the ticketing. It's all fairly straightforward. Yeah, we've already got quite a few people that have bought tickets. So as I say, if you are interested in coming along to the launch, now is the time to grab a ticket, as that gig is exactly 2 weeks away. So yeah, it's all happening. So before we even get to the performance, or the rather low-key solo act, I'd like to thank my sponsor, Aqua to Go. Actually, that's my unofficial sponsor. They haven't been confirmed yet, but let's get it out of the shot, actually, because it's a little annoying. Now, I should also point out that if you do want to download or stream the album, you can visit a man called Sun.com. That's our official website there. And you'll see that basically everything that we've released officially is up there. We do obviously have a lot of our works on the various digital platforms, such as Spotify or Apple iTunes and so forth. But we generally point people towards the Bandcamp, just because it's a more equitable system for us. It's probably the most equitable system out there on the World Wide Webs. And not only that, so there is a lot of bonus material that you can't get on any other digital platform. So the last single, the most recent single we released, which just came out last week, is Slowing to a Crawl. You'll see that on there. And that's also got a bonus B-side, Golf Course Picnic. So you can't get that anywhere else. And as for the vinyl copy of the album, so far we've just got the one record store in Sydney stocking it, Repressed Records. However, there will be more record stores that will be stocking it, hopefully over the weekend, particularly in Melbourne. But we are, of course, just trying to encourage people to visit the website, our website, mancalledsun.com, and pick up, grab yourself an official copy of the vinyl through there. Now, the other thing I should say is, folks, I will be playing a solo gig in person, not virtually, in the lead up to the launch. And that will be at Compass Pizza in Brunswick, which is a venue I haven't had the pleasure of playing yet, but I've certainly gone there. It's a great spot, and just one of many sort of smaller, intimate venues in the north of Melbourne, northern suburbs of Melbourne, the inner north, which cater to solo acts or duos. So if you are in the Brunswick area, do come down for that. That's a free gig. That's on December 3rd. That's a Saturday night. So that'll be just under a week before the actual album launch. So, well, what can I say? This has been quite a year for everyone, I'm sure. The year is winding down. True to form with A Man Called Sun, we always seem to release something new at the end of the year, the tail end of the year. I think actually the last album, No Maps, came out on the 25th of November. And I'm not even sure how long ago that was. I think it was 5 years ago. Don't quote me on that. 5 years sounds right. Could be wrong. But anyway, that's a strange coincidence. We didn't even realize that. I didn't even realize until I looked today at the Bandcamp that it was it had actually been 5 years. So with that, there's always, I guess, mixed feelings, because really, certainly from my perspective, I would like to release more material. If I had my way, do it like the bands did in the 60s and release an album every 6 months. I know there's a few bands out there on the scene, certainly in Australia, which are very prolific, but it just doesn't work like that for us as much as we try. We are an independent band, an unsigned band with limited resources and limited budgets. So it's not always a straightforward process coming together and recording, and working on the material takes a long time. And I'm sure I speak for many bands and artists out there, many songwriters who probably endure the same setbacks when you're making an album. You think you're going to get it done in a few months, and then you can just release it and that'll be it. But I don't think any A Man Called Sun release has had quite the gestation period as this album. I started demoing the songs in 2017. Some of the songs do predate that, but I guess the official demoing process happened almost instantly after No Maps, which was the last album that I mentioned. And it's interesting because I think one of the first songs that I demoed was a song called Plateau, which was the second single, ended up being the second single we released from the album. And that was a totally different time and place in my life. And I actually composed it on an old 70s organ, which I no longer own. But it is quite astonishing how much time has elapsed. And I'm trying my best not to bring up the pandemic. It's very hard to get around, because it really did take off quite a significant chunk of people's lives and professional lives and everything. And obviously I was no exception there. So, I guess there were other things too. I had some health issues, which delayed things, and I'm fully recovered now. But I think it's important to talk about these things, because it's just a reminder that when you want to, the best laid plans of mice and men, I guess, when you want to do something, it's not always straightforward, and you might have a very clear vision. And I generally have a good idea of what I want to achieve with the A Man Called Sun, I guess, sonic vision. And I'm very lucky, because I also have other musicians that help me realize that vision and are very supportive, as well as my friends and family. But things just kind of got a bit tricky from about 2018 onwards, which is actually pre-pandemic. So it's quite incredible. The album was... Actually, we went into the studio at Sound Park in March of 2019 to record the basic tracks for what would become Timebombs. So Idge from Sound Park was there as engineer, and did a very good job getting down the drum tracks and guitars. And I also had the opportunity to use some of the equipment some of the vintage keyboards and things they have there. So probably I'd say estimate about a good 35%, 40% maybe of the album was tracked at Sound Park. What we call the sort of bed tracks. And then I took those tracks home, in mid 2019, and started work on it. But then I had some health issues which sidelined me for quite some time, and unfortunately, the band also had to be sidelined. I think we only played a couple of gigs in 2019 as a result. So yeah, even in the lead up to the pandemic, things were not ideal. But I did manage to complete the one song, which was What We Had, and we released that in 2020. And that was a good moment. We had the video clip done for it as well, which was animated by Helen Katankin. So hello, if you're there, Helen. Did a really good job there with the animation. And then we weren't able to launch it because then the pandemic hit. So that sort of threw another spatter in the works. It would be another year before we released the next single, which was Plateau. This is probably the most spread out indie album campaign I think I've ever witnessed. I could be corrected on this. I don't think I know a longer campaign for an album, but I might be wrong. Anyway, so yeah, that single came out in October 2021, and yeah, by that point, it was, we had plans to launch that single at, I guess I think it was Whole of Love in Brunswick. I guess it was just one of many venues that we played at a few times, and then that fell through because of the constant lockdowns and snap lockdowns. That was sort of getting towards the tail end of the lockdowns, but still. So it just seemed that it was never the right time to release the album, I think, in essence, because ideally we would have liked to have released it as far back as last year. But yeah, it just wasn't to be. Then in 2022, so we're going back to the start of 2022, there were a few changes. Sam, our amazing guitarist, he'd left the band for a while because there was some he was having some hearing issues, and he has. We're really lucky that he's rejoined the band now, but it was a little tricky again at that time because it was like, well, we're in such a state of flux. It was like, well, do we release the album now? I mean, there was a bit of shifting personnel. But we're so grateful to have Sam back. So big shout out to Sam, the Jam, if you're there. And also to my other bandmates, Thomas on bass and Andrew Jackson on drums. Now, Andrew is graciously, while he's not a permanent member of A Man Called Son, he's graciously filling in for he's playing with us at the launch, and he's done quite a few gigs with us before. He plays in another band called Tetsuians, a really good sort of hard rock band in the area, so do check him out. Anyway, so yeah, early 2022 was just not a good time either. So we sort of had the odds stacked against us, and then it was decided, well, things were kind of going back to normal again. It was a little bit hairy for those first few months of 2022, and a lot of people were understandably hesitant about going out and seeing bands, and then it started to relax again. But then, of course, there was the winter scourge where we'd have gigs and then we'd have to, I think there was a couple of times where we had to cancel, or I think there was one gig where we had to get an entire replacement rhythm section because our poor bassist and drummer we got the spicy cough, as they say, so I had to isolate. So yeah, I think I'm not suggesting that our experiences were unique. I think a lot of bands and artists in Australia, and particularly Melbourne, went through some similar things in the last few years, but it just seemed that for us, the timing was never right. So we had to make sure that the timing was right and it did feel right. and it always seems to be towards the tail end of the year. And now that things are literally hotting up, things are literally warming up in Melbourne, it feels like a really good time to be in a celebratory mood and celebrate our personal achievement, I guess. And uh, I think now is probably a good time to thank so many people that have helped or have supported us along the way. It goes without saying that all of our family and friends that have been with us from the start. Big shout out to my mum and dad and my brother, and also my sister Charlotte and her family. If you're watching over in the UK, now I really have many names to list here, and it'll probably take me a long time to go through them. So apologies if I do forget anyone, but I would like to give a special mention to Naomi Rahim, who designed the amazing artwork that I was mentioning earlier in the stream, and also a lot of that live photography that you might see of us. She's taken a lot of great live photos. And I'd also like to give a special shout out to Mr. James Rance, who is playing drums, or has played drums with us quite a few, loads of gigs in the past, but does feature on the album on the song Plateau and backing vocals. So hello, James, if you're out there. I'd also like to thank Idge from Sound Park, Jordan Silver in the US, who did such a good job mixing the album, Dave Blackman from Hilton Grove in the UK, who mastered the album for both digital and vinyl. Love your work, Dave. I'll be sure to work with you guys. I hope I get to work with you guys in the future. And there's a whole bunch of other musicians that appeared on this album, which I am probably likely to forget them all or forget one of you, but so apologies again. But I would like to give a special thanks to Lee, who I've worked with before on the album No Maps, and she's got such a great voice, which I think gels so well with the stuff we do. So big shout out to Lee Yee. Have I forgotten anyone? I'm sure I've forgotten someone here. I've obviously mentioned my bandmates, but I'll mention them again because they were such an integral part of making this album. So Mr. Thomas Madden from Brisbane, Step On Up. Mr. Sam James from Darwin. And also, very special thanks to Mr. Morrow Trenton. Morrow is a good friend of the band. He actually did. There's a little inner sleeve for the album, the special edition of the album, and his photography features on the inner sleeve there. So yeah, he actually plays drums on a couple of tracks too, and yeah, he's a great friend of ours, great all round guy as well. So a special mention for him too. So this always feels a little unique, a little strange doing live streams. I wouldn't say it's my forte, probably because I don't do it very much, but also I kind of feel, for me, the home environment or the studio environment is one thing, and then the live environment is another thing. And this is a bit of a blend of the two, which I'm always a little bit uncomfortable with it. Strangely enough, I have no problems getting up on stage and playing. It feels quite normal, quite natural to me, but live streaming is something different, probably because you're not sure who's actually watching. It always feels a little bit, I don't want to use the word sinister, but you just never know. I mean, it's a public thing. But I do want to say that it hasn't been an easy year for a lot of people, and myself included. But I just feel so, I guess, elated and relieved that we're now at that stage where we can just put this album out there and relax, because for us, this album means a lot. Obviously, I started A Man Called Sun as a solo project And to all intents and purposes, it is a solo project. It's not a band in the conventional sense, but we do like to present it, I think, as a band, because I think it's important to involve other musicians as much as you should. But also, I've always enjoyed playing with other musicians, and even though collaborative songwriting isn't something that I really do, I mean, I'm not ruling it out. I'd be happy to collaborate with someone when it comes to songs, but it's just something I've never done. So, that's why, for all intents and purposes, it's a solo project, because at the end of the day, I write the songs, I present them to the other band members, and then what they bring to the table is part of the magic. So, there are A Man Called Sun releases which just feature myself, where I'm just playing all the instruments, and then there's A Man Called Sun releases that feature multiple musicians. But I think this is just one of those projects that's very flexible. You can have different musicians at different times, but I will say that this current lineup, certainly from a live point of view and a recording point of view, is the best lineup I've ever played with. And Sam and Thomas have been with me the longest of any members, and we're all good friends. We're very lucky to have Andrew, as I said, join the fold. Andrew Jackson, for a few gigs as well as the launch. So I think that's the real important thing. Is I have to be careful here, because it might come across like I'm being patronizing or imparting advice, but I guess I'm not a 21-year-old guy, in case that wasn't obvious. But I think if I could speak to my 21-year-old self, I'd probably say, exactly what, funnily enough, and I am name dropping here, but I would say to him exactly what Robert Forster from the Go-Betweens, that's right, the Robert Forster, said to me years ago in Brisbane, when I met him, I think for the second time. He said, try and find, above all, musicians that you like and you enjoy playing with. I think it's such a simple philosophy, but it's such an important one, because one of the things that I've noticed, or one of the things that I've encountered in my time, is that a lot of musicians and bands, sometimes they play with those that perhaps they might get on board because they're a pro. Fair enough. They love the way that they play a certain guitar solo, or this or that, or that they're a hired gun. That's totally fine too. I mean, if you have that luxury of being able to have loads of hired guns and session musicians, great. But I think it's really important that the dynamic is good. And I've sort of been blessed. I'm not really a fan of that word, but it's the only word I can sort of think of. I've been blessed to play with some excellent musicians, but above all, they're also really excellent people, which is something I don't think you always encounter in the music industry. And these are the people that you want to hold on to. So that's something that I wish I'd learned perhaps a little earlier, because sometimes you can get, I guess, sucked into that ethos that, the important thing is, are they a great musician? Rather than, and that trumps everything else. And it doesn't always, I think. It has to be both. It has to be, obviously, yes, they have to be good at, their instrument. But the other thing I'd say is that, can you get along with them? Are you going to be able to get along with them in the long term? Are they someone you want to be playing with, touring with, gigging with, recording with, all those sorts of things? So that's something that I think comes across when we play live, is the dynamic and the camaraderie we have as musicians. And it's something that I hope comes across on stage when you see us. I've certainly felt it this year more than any other years. Is that connection with ourselves and with the audiences that have seen us. So I'd like to thank everyone that's come and supported us this year, and everyone that's come along to a gig. I really, really have enjoyed getting back to playing live again. As I said, it was a little bit close to the knuckle in the last few years, but I think certainly pre the last 12 months, it was a bit rough. But things have kind of hit a really nice equilibrium now. I'm loath to bring up what we see in the news with the latest things with the pandemic and how that's impacting on the performing arts and how that's impacting on the musicians that are just trying to go about their business and tour and play to audiences that have paid to see them. And of course, the future is not ours to see, but I think we're now at that stage. Hopefully, of course, there's a lot of work to do, and there's a few things that are a bit concerning, but I think we're at that stage now where hopefully we won't be taking playing live for granted again. But famous last words, as it were. So without further ado, because it is getting to that time, I thought I'd play a few songs in acoustic mode. That was a very long preamble. I don't even think that is a preamble. That goes beyond a preamble. But I just wanted to say all this because these are the things you don't get to say often when you're performing live, or even in interviews and other things or rehearsals. There's a lot of things that you might want to get across, and I think now is a good time. So thanks for everyone who's watching, or if you've just joined us, hello. And if you are watching this in the future after it's finished, big shout out to all you future watchers and subscribers. So I'm going to start by playing a song which was the first single off the album, and it's a song called What We Had. There's a faded postcard in this box of memories of you, dancing in a rainy city, oblivious to the glue. Thought you'd be mine, then I realized what we had is all we had on the top. That I need to know. I lie awake at night, wondering how things could have gone. There's a group of volcanic islands, time bombs in the sea, 1,000 miles from the mainland, scattered so carelessly, trying to survive every storm and tide. What we had is all we had on that top. That need to know. But all these plans and shifting sands will take me where I want to go. Down to Terminal 3, flying back to your own country. But it isn't like the movies, there's just regret. There's a spot high up on the hill, far from the city streets. Could I remember you this way before I get the taste of defeat? Okay, I'd like to thank my sponsor once again, Aqua to Go, unofficial sponsor. All right. Well, this is a song which you may not know, unless you've heard the album already. But anyway, you might have seen us play it live even, but it's a song called Worthy Adversary. I think it's one of those songs where I had the title before I wrote the song. I was like, that would make a good song. And I'm going to play it for you now. See the sparkle in her eyes, gloss on her lips, laughing at his jokes, standing on her doorstep. Worthy adversary has got you worked up into a frenzy. What should I lose is only instant pleasure. You'll be waiting at her leisure. Through the curtains I see them passing by. I'm the wolf found lusting after the prize. Feeling much older now than you ever felt before. Can't run away from today anymore. A worthy adversary has It's got you worked up into a frenzy. A worthy adversary. It's got you worked up into a frenzy. A worthy adversary. Okay, thank you to anyone who's watching, and I'd like to again mention the fact that we will be launching this album on December 9th, that's Friday night, at Kindred Bandroom in Footscray. It is technically in Yarraville, but it's just so much easier to say Footscray. But that's fine. If you want to insist it's in Yarraville, I won't quibble with you. So I'm going to play another song from the new album, and do hope you like it. This one, it's a bit of an interesting one. It's a song, I had the melody for some time, but I never really liked the original lyrics, so I changed it, and it's kind of about, I guess, someone who you don't know whether this person's desperate or a stalker, or whether they're just deluded, or perhaps all three. But it's a song called Cycling in the Rain. The night was endless, the streets were restless, cycling in the rain. I was blinded, I only had one thought, the echo of your name. And the light has died on the handlebar, and I'm getting soaked from each passing car. But heaven and hell won't stop me. I'm gonna win you back again. A stray dog passes by, a haunted looking at sign. It's going nowhere fast. There's broken glass everywhere, but I don't even care. You're almost within my grasp. Thought I could see you through your window, before I crashed into the hedge below. And I'm not sure how they found me. I'm gonna win you back again. Ooh, okay, thank you. If anyone's watching right now, don't be shy to leave a comment in the chats, the live chats. Yeah, it won't put me off my playing, that's for sure. So this is another. Well, of course, it's a new song because that's really what I'm intending on doing tonight is playing all new material or newish material, and this song actually I can't really describe it, but we tend to, when we play it live, we play it pretty hard, but it started off as, I guess it kind of builds live to a kind of a loud crescendo, but it started off very much as a somewhat subdued kind of atmospheric little number, and it's a song called "Take This Song." Half your life is over, and every chance you had was gone. Take a look at what I'm offering. It's the best deal going on. Here we were sleepwalking. Could it be we were too young? Time has put us on standby. One more day seems too long. Take my heart, take this song. Take my heart, take this song. Take my heart, take this song. Nights have caught up with you, when conversation makes you numb, I think of you, the skies are clearing, pale blue eyes in the sun. Take my heart, take this song. Take my heart, take this song. Take my heart, take this song. Well, that's a workout and a half. So, this next song is our new single off the new album, and it's actually the opening track. And when I wrote this song, um, it was a different time. When the original demo, it was back in 2018, and then the song kind of evolved from a lyrical point of view. Everything else stayed the same, but musically speaking, that is. But from a lyrical point of view, it sort of evolved to take in a few things that had happened over more recent times. So when we were doing the album, I worked on this song at home mostly, and we didn't actually record it in the studio. It was done entirely, in my home studio. I thought that turned out pretty good. It's actually my personal favorite track on the album, and I'm going to play it a little bit differently tonight because there's so many bells and whistles on the actual recording. I'm going to play it now as more of a folky style, given the instrument that I'm holding. Always check your tuning, folks. Where are you now, my friend? I've come to make amends. To steer us on the right track, to wind the clocks back. This is the last card in the pack. I'm here to clear the dead, and we can ride off into the sunset. But there's so much traffic, slowing to a crawl, slowing to a crawl, slowing to a crawl, yeah. Slowing to a crawl, slowing to a crawl. Makes no sense at all. Circle the streets at night, just like a broken satellite. You were my partner in crime, but now I'm doing time. Shackled to the past, the wall too high to climb, and I cleaned out the aisles. There ain't a soul for miles. Everything is slowing to a crawl, slowing to a crawl, slowing to a crawl, slowing to a crawl, slowing to a crawl. Makes no sense at all. to a crawl, slowing to a crawl, slowing to a crawl, yeah, slowing to a crawl, slowing to a crawl, makes no sense at all. Makes no sense at all. Makes no sense at all. Cool. Well, that was a nice change of pace from the other downbeat songs. We might do something more upbeat now on that note. So this is a song which we play live most gigs. So I think it's one of our favorites as well. And it's a song, really, it's almost the flip side of Slowing to a Crawl. Slowing to a Crawl is, I think, about someone wanting to reconcile or make amends and whatnot. And Corner Store is just a guy who I think is, or a girl, or a they, who is, a little bit lost and doesn't really, is kind of stuck in a rut. And it's definitely not drawn from personal experience. Smoking too much, losing your touch. One more cup of coffee and you're talking double Dutch. Where did all your ambition go? Where did all your energies go? Getting up is a chore. A trip to the corner store is the most exciting thing you do anymore. Where did all your energies go? Your head's empty, there's an echo. Sooner or later you're gonna sit back and say, how did I let the best juice of my life get away? How did I treat her so carelessly? You blacked out the windows, rat-trapped the floor, put a no salesperson sign upon your door. Now no one will ever bother you again. Can you blame them for all that you did? Sitting by the jetty, watching the tide, haunted by memories of her by your side. Sooner or later you're gonna sit back and say, how did I let the best juice of my life get away? How did I treat her so carelessly? And your room is every shade of blue in your own world, while the real one's spinning out of view, and there's nothing more you can do.
can say, how did I let the best years of my life get away? How did I treat her so carelessly? In your room is every shade of blue in your own world, while the new one's spinning out of view. And there's nothing more you can do.
That certainly blasted the cobwebs away. Right, I'm going to attempt a song which I have never played live, either solo or with the band. And there's a few reasons for that. One is it was very much a song that I put together piecemeal, as it were. So most of what you hear on the album version was done. There's a bit of trickery involved, sort of one overdub at a time. For that song, at least, not the others, which are a bit more live. Yeah, certainly the bed tracks. But anyway, I always wanted to have live strings on an album, and I got that on the last album, on one track, Sandy J, using some recordings of a cello that I'd done for the album before, Midnight Associates, which also used the original cello on a song called To Avoid Collision. But it felt like with this song, it needed a string arrangement almost. And you can probably imagine how expensive a string section would be to play live, let alone in a studio session altogether. But I managed to find a violinist, and actually he's based in Greece, and he just did a fantastic job. Basically, I can't read or write music, so I sent him over what I had recorded with the keyboard lines, and I said, this is what I'm after with the strings, because he said he's pretty good with, transposing or figuring out what to play. He's just one of those freaks that can do it. And he wrote out a little arrangement. It certainly didn't break the bank, which I was relieved about. And just did an amazing performance. So that to me really, really makes the song. And so it's a bit tricky to play it live, just because even with keyboard strings, it wouldn't sound as effective. And anyway, hopefully we might have a go at playing it at the launch for you. But worst case scenario, you'll get to hear it today live, and then of course on the album. It's a song called When We Were Green.
Do you feel unsettled in a place like this? Oh, and the wine flowed freely. Oh, the days were easier when we were green. Horizon stretching out in front of us. Horizon stretching out in front of us. Greeted with open contempt in a hostile town. My soul is parched, the load is heavy, Every distant signpost was just a mirage. I'll keep walking till the day is through. I'll dream to the bright vision of you. You live in my heart. 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 You live in my heart.
Now, we won't be getting a string section for the launch, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll be able to play that song for you in some guise or some form. So, I'm going to play you a song now, which is a bit of an odd one. When I originally wrote the basic song, the bare bones of the song, it was intended for an album which has never seen release, or there's never even been fully recorded. So it's not like there's some hidden album out there, but I wanted to do a kind of 60s inspired album, a very retro sounding album, which could happen one day, but it just seemed like a lot of bands were doing that anyway. So anyway, I think this song's probably got, for me, the most retro influence or 60s influence. There's a 12-string guitar on this song on the album, and just the melody is very reminiscent of those kind of Brit Invasion bands from the 60s. So anyway, this is a song called Destroy Your Mind.
Standing in a corner with a trolley full of positions, swearing and shoving each other in a place of aggression. You may think you're above them, but it's not too far to fall. Look in my eyes, it's rare that I've learned something. Oh, how to destroy your mind. 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 Final notice of eviction before they kick you to the street. Don't have time to find your shoes, or even to find your own feet. You played the scene 100 times, hoping that it won't come true. Look in my eyes, you swear that I've learned something. Yeah, how to destroy your mind. How to destroy your mind. How to destroy your mind. It's all in good time. out to destroy your mind. It's all in good time.
Thank you to anyone who's watching, and I'd like to thank my unofficial sponsor, Aqua to Go. For delivery to office or home, visit officeworks.com.au. Right, well, we're getting towards the end of the live stream. I wanted to make it a generous hour and a half because I wanted to obviously talk about the album and the whole, I guess, process leading up to it, and why it's sort of taken so long, I suppose. Not that I really need to justify myself, but or ourselves, but I think there's a few things that need to be said. So I'm going to mention this again. This is the limited edition deluxe, lovely physical copy of the album. It won't be released in any other format except digital. So there won't be any CD version or cassette or anything. There will be an exclusive limited edition vinyl, of which there are only 100 copies. And when I say only 100 copies, I mean that there are only 100 copies pressed. We've already sold quite a few. So we do recommend that you go on the official A Man Called Son website via Bandcamp. So that's simply amancalledson.com. and grab yourself a limited edition copy. Now, as someone who is a little bit finicky about product and quality, and I can certainly vouch for the sound quality on this. I've done many revisions, sonic revisions in the lead up to getting this onto vinyl, and I think you'll be very happy with the sound quality if you've got a good turntable, an amplifier, and all that sort of thing. So, this one is for the vinyl freaks out there. Although it does make a very good album to sort of put on display, as you'll see behind me with my little makeshift promo that I've created. So, folks, we are drawing to a close, as I said. I do have a couple more songs for you. The next I'm going to do is the second single from the album, and it's a song which a lot of people seem to enjoy when we play live, or they've come forward and said that they really like this song, so I thought I'd play this now. And it's a little ditty called Plateau.
Used to be a lonely kid with posters covering the wall. Wanted to be like my heroes, couldn't wait till tomorrow. Thousand dreams and endless schemes, I never noticed the pitfalls. The future was in front of me, but it seems so long ago. Getting high, but not too high, 'cause I'm feeling low, but not too low. Getting high, but not too high, 'cause I'm stuck on this plateau. Hadn't spoke to my mother for weeks, I called her on the phone. Asked me when I'm gonna have some kids all of my own. All my friends have settled down and started families. I said the last thing the world needs is another version of me. Getting high, but not too high, 'cause I'm feeling low, getting high, but not too high, 'cause I'm stuck on this plateau. Getting high, feeling low, getting high, feeling
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, it's probably a good time to mention once again. I did mention this before I started playing, but it does bear repeating that you can, of course, visit the A Man Called Sun website, which has everything we've officially released on there, going all the way back. And you will see the 3 singles from the album, which have exclusive B-sides that are not available anywhere else. They're only available on the Bandcamp, and they're also not available on the new album. So there's a few extra songs there you might want to check out. But more importantly, it has this guy, the big gun, the new album, Timebombs in the Sea, which actually draws its title from What We Had, which I played at the start of the set. But I am going to play a song which may or may not be the next single, still up in the air, but it's the closing song from the album, and it's one that we like to finish off with live, as in when we play as a band, but it's also a number which I like to play even solo or in any form. It does tend to stretch my voice to its natural limits, so that's why it's always good to reserve it to the end. But it is one of those songs that I generally don't play on acoustic much, so I thought tonight would be a good opportunity. Now, it's a song called Fireglow, which admittedly I did pinch the name from the shade of my guitar, which is a Rickenbacker 360, and supposedly it's called Fireglow, but without the W. I guess they made it, that makes it sound cooler, I don't know, or hotter. Anyway, it's a song called Fireglow.
hit me like a cyclone, shake me like a storm cloud. Now that we're low, oh no, don't ever stop. Kill me off all my years, knock down from your sleeping hill. Get basking in your fire, love, basking in your fire, love. Cast adrift on the ocean, shoot the sky without flicker, burning out but such fun. Oh no, don't ever stop. Basking in the fire glow, basking in the fire glow. Yeah. Basking in your fire glow, basking in your fire glow. Yeah. Switch up your mind, relax and float down the stream. It is not dying, it is not dying. Lay down a false surrender to the void. It is shining, it is shining. Thank for temptation to believe. It is believing, it is believing. Listen to the chatter of your dream. It is not living, it is not living. Oh, play the game existence to the end. All the beginning, all the beginning, all the beginning, all the beginning,
Well, that brings us to the end of our live stream. Thank you so much for those who watched the whole thing or watched even part of it. And for the future viewers, we hope you enjoy it. This album, we're very excited to release it. There are, of course, plenty of digital platforms you can use to stream it or download it. But we would like to encourage all listeners to visit the A Man Called Sam website, where you can download and stream it there. It's very easy to do. There's all the different formats you like, the MP3, FLAC, or WAV. And of course, you can buy the vinyl copy via the website. So that's all from me. And one final thing I should say, even though I've said it a few times, but it's always worth mentioning again, and that is that we'll be launching the album on December 9 at Kindred Bandroom in Footscray. December 9, which is just 2 weeks away. So please do come along to that. It'll be a very, very special night. We'll be joined by some excellent other artists, and I think a guaranteed good time for all. So that's all from me. Enjoy your weekend, everybody, and don't forget to vote. Cheers.